What's up YouTube? Imperial Diecast here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the scale 124 Ferrari F430 Fiorano by Bburago. So this is the car in front of you, and immediately what you can tell is that it has racing livery. I checked the internet for what exactly the 430 Fiorano is, and it turns out it doesn't exist. We have the 430 Scuderia, we have the 430, we have the 430 Challenge, but no 430 Fiorano. We have a Fiorano test track, I believe it's in Modena in Italy, and from what I understand, Bburago simply decided to call this particular racing livery, which does not exist in real life, as the Fiorano. Let's begin by taking a look at the front of the car. You can see that it has the Pirelli logo, the Ferrari logo, as well as the badge at the front, the number 27, and on the windshield it says ferrari.co.uk. Now the really interesting thing is that there are two versions of this car that is being sold by Bburago. What I have is the old version. There's a newer version out there that on first glance looks exactly like this car, but has two fundamental differences. The first, and perhaps the most obvious difference, to which I will get in a moment, is that it comes with brake discs and brake calipers, which are not present on this version. The second difference is that the front headlights actually no longer have black pegs, but look slightly different. I will also get to that in a moment. Let's move on by taking a look at the side of the car. So this is what the side of the car looks like. You can immediately tell that it does not have brake discs or brake calipers. Now, while I find this a shame, on the other hand, I think it's not that bad, because the black recesses contrast the rims, in my opinion, well enough. You can see that the Ferrari badge emblazoned on both sides of the car, and what's cool about it is that it's not a sticker, but an actual print. At the bottom right, you can actually notice that it says Pininfarina. As you can see, it says so right there. The Ferrari 430 by Bburago also has the Ferrari logo on the rims, which is a nice additional detail. Let's move on to the back of the car. Personally, I think this is one of the coolest views of the Ferrari 430. You can see its iconic quad exhaust on both sides, and I have to admit that I did use a black marker to basically draw in the black interior of the exhausts, because when you buy the car you actually do not get the black exhausts that way, you just get everything in silver. A nice additional detail is the fact that it comes with the license plate. This is a European Union license plate. It says I, which means Italy, on the left side, and on the right side it says MO, which probably stands for Modena, which is one of the cities where Ferrari basically tests all their different cars. Let's take a look at the front of the car. You can see here that the front headlights are completely kept in silver. Now this is one of the things that I don't like about the Ferrari 430 made by Bburago. And you have the same situation also with the Hot Wheels Elite Scale 118 Ferrari F30 Scuderia, where the front headlights are also kept in complete silver. If you look at the real car, the front headlights are actually black, and there's only a silver trim on the xenon bulb. Unfortunately, it's impossible for me to actually remove this headlight, color it black, and then put it back on, because I tried to do that when I unscrewed the bottom of the car and then looked at the underside, basically, of the headlight, and it was soldered in, and I'd have to basically pry that out, and I really didn't think that I'd be capable of gluing it back together, so I decided to leave it as it is. But you can see that it is silver. Now this is where I will tell you a little bit about the differences between this and the newer 430 that is released by Bburago. My car has two black pegs. On the newer 430 released by Bburago, you no longer have these two black pegs on each side of the headlights. Instead, it is seamless. However, you will have a gap between the interior of the headlight and the rest of the car body. I will demonstrate that in a picture in a second. So what's cool about the headlights of my older Ferrari 430 is that it is seamless. It doesn't have any kind of gap between the headlight and the car body. The engine cover is also openable, and it doesn't have too big of a panel gap. Here you can see the engine cover opened up, and it does show a pretty nice boot, although it doesn't have much detail. What's really interesting about this car is that I actually had problems finding it on the Amazon.com website. In fact, I could only find it on the European Amazon websites, for example Amazon.de and Amazon France. I believe Amazon.co.uk also has it. And the reason why I find this interesting is because my local store nearby has a ton of these. As mentioned earlier, there's two versions of this car available to scale 1/24 collectors, which is the one with the racing livery and the one without, both made by Bburago. Now, I bought this car from Amazon France for €7.54. It was like one of the most amazingly low prices that I could ever had the fortune to find. And the funny thing is, approximately a week or so after I ordered this car, the price jumped right back up to €19.99. And this is also the usual price that this car retails for, anywhere between 15 and 20 euros. So the equivalence in dollars would be something like $17 to $22, which, you know, is obviously not very cheap for a scale 1/24 car, but what you gonna do? Now let's talk a little bit about the flaws of this car. As you know, every model car has flaws. So to begin with, perhaps you already have noticed, but this car has some rather noticeable panel gaps when it comes to the doors. As you can see right there, that's a visible panel gap. The lack of brake discs and brake calipers has already been mentioned. The pegs in the headlights. And then you can actually also see that there's a little bit of a gap between the top of the car and the front windshield. Another thing that bothers me about this car is the fact that the wheels are quite flimsy. I mean, they wobble too much. And the same is also the case on the other side of the car. However, if you set the car down, it actually moves very smoothly. So there's absolutely no problems there. Because some cars have the problem where they don't stay properly, and this car doesn't have that issue. The front wheels swivel, which is good. However, the steering does not correspond to that. So as you can see, the steering wheel does not move. Let's take a look at the interior of the car. As you can see, it has a relatively detailed cockpit with silver lining on all the fans, as well as colored-in buttons. What I really like about the interior is that it is cream color, which is usually a rarity when it comes to 1/24 scale cars, because most interiors that I've seen are completely black. You'll notice that the dashboard has some kind of a peg that is not quite sitting well with the rest of the interior. However, this is exactly how all other scale 1/24 Bburago Ferrari 430s also look like. Let's take a look at the driver's side of the cockpit. As you can see, you have a dashboard with quite a good amount of detail actually. You have a steering wheel that has the Ferrari logo, a silver trim, and if you look closely, you can also see the speedometer and the rev meter on the dashboard. That actually consists of a sticker. You have the gear shifter and a couple more buttons as well in the center console. You can also see that the floor pedals are colored silver. The interior even has black mats. It's a little hard to detect, but the seats actually even have Ferrari logos on the headrests. Let's take a look at the engine next. The 4.3-liter V8 is modeled rather well. It has pretty good amount of detail, and the fact that the rear engine cover window is so huge means you can actually get a good look at it even though it does not open. The only parts on this car that open are the doors and the hood. You can see the Ferrari logo as well as the Ferrari emblem emblazoned on both the engine blocks. There's even a Ferrari logo here. The taillights are done very nicely. You can even see the silver detailing in the middle of each taillight. Let's conclude this review by a tour through the Ferrari 430's exterior. Thanks for checking out this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. This is Imperial Diecast signing out.